It's getting dark for them. You know, I said this years ago. I said this years ago on my main channel. I said, and this was during, the pandemic. I said, in a few years, watch how dark it gets for them. Watch how dark it's going to get for them. And all you've been seeing is layoffs, evictions. Their income is not enough to sustain them. It's not enough. It's not enough. They go into debt for these jobs paying $35, maybe $45,000 per year, if that. Meanwhile, they're in debt for $170,000. And that's, and when I say 45,000, that's on the high end. The average median range for them is between $28,000 to $33,000. They're not getting paid out here. They're not getting paid out here. So every other woman, right? Maria, Becky, they make more than her, right? But they understand that in order for them to not be caught in certain situations, they need to get under the leadership of a man. And since they're not good at finances, they leave the finances to the men. The men don't go out there spending. They don't. They don't go out there, see a brand new pair of boots, brand new pair of shoes, clothes. They don't spend like that. Most men, you go in their closet, you look at their wardrobe is years old. Years. A lot of dudes don't update their wardrobe. Shout out to the guys that do. Shout out to the guys that got a closet full of, full of suits, jeans, this is no dig to these brothers, right? If you into fashion and you can afford it, that's fine. But most men, when you look in their closet, they're not, they don't have closets full of clothes. They got 5, 10 pair of pants. They usually, especially if you're a blue collar man, they usually wear their blue collar overalls or, khakis and shirt, wherever they work at. Whether you a mechanic, whether you drive trucks, whether you electrician, whether you're a plumber, you're usually wearing your work clothes every day. So the clothes that you do wear on the weekend, days that you're not working, right? They're still in good condition because you're still wearing your work clothes. You mostly wear your work clothes. So that's how most men look at things. Like, I don't need all these pants. I got a couple of suits for special occasions. Not them. They look at clothes. They got to have the newest shoes, the latest shoes, the latest fashion, hair, makeup, nails. And before you know it, you got this situation. Let's go.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Watson, this is plaintiff's motion for an issuance of an order of eviction in your case. What do you have to say to that, ma'am?
Yes. A lot's been going on since October. I have no issue whatsoever with what I owe. That's not the problem. It's more so me reaching out continuously, calling, emails coming to the office, and nobody responded to me, giving me answers or anything. What happened was I came in to pay my rent October, and I was typically paying partial payment. I found out that day that you can't do partial payment, and I was confused about. So to make a very long story short, it just became a snowball effect. I was out of work, FMLA, due to injury. It just kept piling up. I was trying to contact the office to let them know what's going on, if I could put money down that I was saving towards rent, and nobody would respond to me for months. I left voicemails, I have emails, I have proof where they told me I could make partial payments, and it
Ma'am,
changed. So I was kind of out of the loop.
have you paid anything on this judgment from October?
No, because they don't take any partial payments. So I couldn't. Every time I was trying to make a payment, the late fees would come in. It just kept becoming a snowball effect, and I couldn't pay anything. So they wouldn't take anything. So I didn't know what to do whatsoever. So it's gotten to this point, unfortunately. So I don't know what to do. I've been trying to communicate.
Counsel, how much is owing on her account?
Balance due as of today's date is $10,829.14.
10K.
Poor,
10K.
poor.
Cents.
And ma'am, do you have that?
No, I've been trying to reach out for months.
Poor,
Nobody returns calls. It's been different people, management. I just didn't know what to do.
Ma'am, I guess what you're saying, but if you tried to reach out and nobody would take your money, that would mean you'd have the money.
That's where they get caught up at. Because if you've been trying to get into contact with these people and you can't get into contact with them and it's been months, the money that you would spend for the rent, the money that you would use for the rent, it would still be there, right? It would still be there. Because the money that you're using for the rent, you would put that to the side because that's the money for the rent. That's the money. That's not extra money for nothing else. That's money for the rent. So where is that at? Remember, she's been trying to get in contact with these people. She said they wouldn't take partial payments. So therefore, the money that you were using for the rent, where's that money at?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have the money.
No, because it kept going higher and higher. So they take the full amount. They don't take any partial payment. So
that doesn't matter if it goes higher and higher. What does that matter? How does that matter if it goes higher and higher? It doesn't matter. And what I mean it doesn't matter, if you raise up, let's say you live in an apartment and it's $1,100 a month, right? And they raise it up to $1,200, right? If they raise the rent up to $1,200, let's say you can't pay that, right? But you still have this $1,100 on the side, right? No matter how high they raise it, you still have the $1,100 that you were able to pay. That doesn't change. The only thing that changed is that the rent went up. Now, if they don't take your money, okay, that's fine. They don't take your money, that's fine. You're just going to have to move. But what doesn't change is that you have this set amount that you usually pay every month, no matter how far or how high the rent get or the fees, you still have $1,100 per month.
So
okay, so how much
take
money do you have now?
nothing.
How? Wow. How?
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to tell me?
No, just I don't know what to do. I'm just trying to figure out what the next step is. Like I said.
You're going to have to vacate the premises.
Okay, how much time do I have?
You haven't paid off the judgment. You don't have the current rent. There's not a whole lot I can do.
Yeah, I never received any letters or anything. So I just was reached out to a month ago. So I've been trying to contact the office. I came into the office. They told me a lawyer would reach out to me. That never happened. So I'm lost. I don't know what to do.
It's always an excuse. Always an excuse. How you don't have the money. So, what you expecting? To live rent free? Remember, they bosses. They out here making six figures. They out here purchasing homes. Where? Where's this happening? No, this is what's happening out there. This is what's happening right now. On a large scale. They're the most evicted. Because they're reckless. They think life is a game. They watch too much TV. They think they should be rich, balling out. Like I said, most men, when you look at their spending habits, they don't spend much. The closet is full of clothes, but it's not full of brand new clothes. They don't have extensive wardrobe. And some of us do. I have an extensive wardrobe. But that's later in life. That's later in life. You understand what I'm saying? That's later in life. When you have built yourself up, you done put all the work in. You done put all the work in from your early years. Now you get to relax and you can splurge a little here and there. They don't put no work in and expect everything. No money. And what do you expect the judge to do? And you know who are the real victims? The landlords. The landlords are the real victims. The landlords. She been in their place for months. So you know what ends up happening? The landlord lose out for months. The landlords, they have rent to pay, they have mortgage, they have bills, they got kids in college. They lose out. So while you're not paying them, they not paying their bills. They gotta go into debt, and they gotta find out other ways to pay certain bills when they were relying on that place that you're living in for free because you decided you're not going to pay. You decided you're not going to pay, and the money that you should have saved, you should have saved that and moved on, but you didn't. You stayed. Now they ask you, okay, well, do you have the money? No, you don't have the money. Well, what you been doing? And now you got to go.
What to do. So how much time do I have so I can find somewhere for me and my children? I don't know.
What do you mean, how much time? You had months to move.
What else to do? I'm just distraught. I've been like this for a while, and I'm just trying to stay strong. So I just want to know what I need to do legally so I can make sure.
And the kids, that also the real victim of the children, they go through this also. How many of these young kids, how many adults, children, grow up and they have vivid memories of being in shelter after shelter after shelter. Embarrassed. They on the school bus. The school bus is dropping them off at the shelter. Everybody, all the kids know what place that is, making fun of them. Yeah, this what they put them through.
Make sure I'm doing the right thing. And I will pay the money. I know I owe that money. I don't know what to do. Nobody's talking to me. Everybody's avoiding me. Until recently, a month ago.
The motion to issue the writ is granted, and I've signed that. And ma'am, the best thing that I can tell you is that you'll be on borrowed time. However, I've also signed the writ of restitution or the order of eviction. So really, you'll have 72 hours from the time that it's posted.
Okay, so 72 hours
from the time that it gets posted. So if it gets posted Monday, you've got till Thursday.
how would I know where it's posted so I make sure?
Oh, you just look at your front door.
Okay. So I can't ask for any extra time to try to find somewhere.
Extra time. I'm telling they for free. Nobody else is looking for handouts like this. This is crazy.
Or
You
something.
can ask you can ask the landlord for extra time, but at the point that I'm at now,
Mhm.
this was a judgment from October.
Yes, I understand that.
And you're telling me you have none of the funds. There's nothing I can do. You owe over $10,000, almost 11.
I understand.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Done. Finito. DOS effects. Diggity done. Biggity bums. You're done. Hey, you know, this is that entitlement too. To think that you can just stay in somebody's home for months and still ask for more time. How foul is that? To think that you can still ask for more time in somebody else's dwelling while they're losing money. So if the judge, let me tell you, this is how foul it is. If the judge was able to say, I'll let you stay there for another year, you think she wouldn't stay there for another year? You wouldn't. You don't think she would have said, okay, yeah, I thanks, Judge, and just lived out there another year? You don't think that would have? That exactly would have happened if the judge was able to do that. If the judge said, hey, you know what? You can stay there another year. And told her that she would stay there another year, not caring about the people who own that home at all, what they're going through. It's whatever she's going through, her situation. If the judge would have said you could stay, she would have stayed there another year. And you know what would have happened after that year is over? Hey, Judge, can I have some more time? They looking for handouts. Biggity bums.
You're done.